Okay, welcome along. I'm chatting to Sally Baker. Sally, do you want to just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So I'm a senior therapist. I've been in practice for over 20 years. I deal a lot with trauma and how trauma can inform things like weight management, um, negative belief systems, how we think and feel about ourselves. Often is underlying some kind of trauma. So a lot of my work goes to the heart of those matters. And I use cutting edge therapeutic approaches that no one's really heard of, perhaps. They've all got crazy initials. They all sound like ABC, but they're things like BWRT, which is currently being trialed in the NHS, PS Tech, which is a British modality, which is amazing for breaking negative emotions from memories or events, and EFT. And today you're going to get EFT.
Yes, so today we wanted to record something about EFT because we did some lives about this, didn't we, back in the summer? And
We did.
then the joys of lives, they've just floated off into the ether. So we thought we would get something recorded so that anybody who finds this a useful modality will always be able to refer back to it.
Great.
So let's start with how EFT can be useful.
Okay, so firstly, EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. Emily's got for you some basic instructions that's got some background notes about where this all evolved from, and an EFT aid memoir, which is the face. So you know where to tap. This is EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, is sometimes called tapping, and it looks a bit strange. You tap around mainly the face and upper body as you say things, preferably out loud. But equally, it doesn't matter if you're saying them just inside your head. And we say things as they are. So the best way to learn EFT is to demonstrate it with something that you can measure for yourselves. And what's great about EFT is you don't need to be in a therapeutic situation with a therapist, because this is a really great self-help technique. I teach it to all my clients. I use it with all my clients. It's for me, it's my gateway approach, because it shifts people from their daytime thinking to more intuitive thinking. And when you've learnt it, you've got a skill for life, that whenever stuff happens, and we all know stuff happens, you can use it and feel better very quickly.
Yeah, and
So
I've used it in the past with various therapists, and it is such a powerful thing. And I know from my experience as the client rather than as the therapist that sometimes I've this will make more sense once we start doing the rounds of tapping, obviously, but sometimes I've been saying the thing and it's not quite the right thing. And it's like, yeah, I'm just tapping it and that's fine. And then we'll just slightly change the words and boom, there comes the emotion. Oh, okay, that's what needed dealing with. And
yeah, yeah.
it's so powerful.
It's a really powerful modality. It's been around for about 30 years now. It's American. They've used it a lot with returning military from the Middle East. There's a lot of examples online. You can Google EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, and there's over 100 now scientific investigations into its efficacy. It's building momentum, and as a known um, I think it's a million times better than CBT, for instance.
Yeah,
Which
I think it's wonderful. Having had it done to me, if that makes sense, or having been on the receiving end,
yeah,
I think it's wonderful. So
good.
let's start at the beginning then.
Okay, so with EFT, the way I'm going to teach it to you today is I want you to take 3 easy in and out breaths. And the depths to which one is able to breathe, 0 is there's no breath in my body, I can't breathe at all, I'm actually dead. And 10 is I'm breathing deeply, freely, and fully, is often a manifestation of how stressed you are. So the more stressed you are, the less depth of breathing you have, and the more shallow your breathing is. So just take your 3 easy in and out breaths, nothing forced. And then you, Emily, can give us a number out loud about where your breathing is right now, or you can just keep it in your head.
I'm probably about a
Just
6.5.
not bad, not
Not
bad.
too
So
bad.
I often see people who are around a 2 or a 3, and I'm curious how they even made it through the door in the days when they could come to the door.
Yes.
So okay, so breathing at 6.5. So we're going to use Emily's number throughout, but you will just, as we do this, it'll be paced to pace that you can tap along and put your own number in. So understanding that your breathing is more suppressed, the more stressed you are, we're going to start. And EFT starts with a setup. So if you are right-handed, you make as if you're going to karate chop a piece of wood with your left hand. Or you just swap. If you are left-handed, you make your karate chop with your right hand. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to make a karate chop with my left hand, and you're going to tap with the fleshy parts of your fingers onto that flat piece of flesh there. You go. And we start with, even though I've got this 6.5 breathing.
Even though I've got this 6.5 breathing.
I completely and fully love and accept myself.
I completely and fully love and accept myself.
As I am now.
As I am now.
Even though that's hard for me.
Even though that's hard for me.
Even though I'm only breathing at just above half capacity.
Even though I'm only breathing at just above half capacity.
It represents all kinds of stress I carry in my body.
It represents all kinds of stress I carry in my body.
I completely and fully love and accept myself.
I completely and fully love and accept myself.
As I am now.
As I am now. Sorry, I have a Doberman trying to get involved.
Dogs love tapping, even though it's hard for me. Even though it's hard for me.
Even though it's hard for me.
And the final part of the setup, because you were saying something 3 times, even though I'm only breathing at 6.5.
Even though I'm only breathing at 6.5.
And it might be normal for me.
And it might be normal for me.
I might have been breathing like this for a long time.
I might have been breathing like this for a long time.
I completely and fully love and accept myself.
Completely and fully love and accept myself.
Even though that's hard for me.
Even though that's hard for me.
Okay, so that's the EFT setup. You're saying something out loud around what you're working on 3 times while tapping on the karate chop. And the first tapping point is where your eyebrow meets the top of your nose. And you tap 6 or 7 times on that point, but you never count. That's a different part of your brain. So you just tap with enough of a bounce to feel it, but you're not knocking yourself out. And you go, I've got this number 6.5 breathing.
I've got this number 6.5 breathing.
Side of the eye. That's the next point. My 6.5 breathing.
My 6.5 breathing.
Under the eye on the curve bone, I'm just breathing at 6.5.
I'm just breathing at 6.5.
Under the nose, I've got this 6.5 breathing.
I've got this 6.5 breathing.
On the chin, I'm breathing at just over half capacity.
I'm breathing at just over half capacity.
Or if you were breathing at 5, you'd say, I am breathing at half capacity. Or if you were breathing at a 4 or 5, you'd say, I'm breathing under half capacity. Just change it, mix it up for yourself. And then it switches to a soft fist. And you go, I've got this number 6.5 breathing.
I've got this number 6.5 breathing.
2 hands on the rib cage. I'm just breathing at 6.5.
I'm just breathing at 6.5.
That's great. And now it changes to a flat hand level with your bra strap under your arm. I've got this 6.5 breathing.
I've got this 6.5 breathing.
2 wrists together. I've got this 6.5 breathing.
I've got this 6.5 breathing.
And top of the head, I've got this 6.5 breathing.
I've got this 6.5 breathing.
And then come back to the collarbone and breathe in. So that's a completed round of EFT. And loosely speaking, you're starting at the eyebrow, you're working down, and it finishes at the top of the head. But with the aid memoir picture, you'll see the tapping points are marked out. And it's a really forgiving modality. It doesn't matter if you miss a point out, tap longer on a point, mix them up. I mean, it's good to have something to follow. And you'll, by practicing it, it'll become second nature and you'll just do it. So that's your first tapping round. And the default rest position after a round is to tap with a soft fist around the collarbone. And as you breathe in, think, how did that round feel? What was it like saying out loud, I got this 6.5 breathing? Did anything pop into your head, Emily?
I felt a bit more relaxed already.
Okay. The breathing number can go up, can go down, or stay the same. Sometimes when the breathing becomes more suppressed, it means you've actually tapped into something, because EFT is filled with aha moments and like, oh, okay, that's in there as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking about that, or I'm knocking myself out about this as well. So you can be aware that your breathing can expand and feel more relaxed and deeper, but it can also feel more constricted and more shallow. It just
Mm.
means you've got work to do, or it can stay the same. So the next round, we don't have to do the setup again. We just go straight into the next round. This 6.5 breathing
This 6.5 breathing
represents all kinds of stress I carry in my body.
represents all kinds of stress I carry in my body.
Side of the eye, the stress that reduces my breathing,
The stress that reduces my breathing.
the stress that makes me breathe with more shallow breath.
The stress that makes me breathe with more shallow breath.
This might be normal for me.
This might be normal for me.
I may have been breathing like this for a long time.
I may have been breathing like this for a long time.
Soft fist on the collarbone. I'm telling the universe now.
I'm telling the universe now.
I don't know how I'm going to do this,
I don't know how I'm going to do this,
but I deserve to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
but I deserve to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
I want to let go. It's 2 hands on the ribcage. I want to let go of whatever is oppressing my breathing.
I want to let go of whatever is oppressing my breathing.
Flat hand under the arm. I want to let go of whatever is making my breathing shallow.
I want to let go of whatever is making my breathing shallow.
2 wrists together. This 6.5 breath of mine.
This 6.5 breath of mine.
It might be normal for me.
It might be normal for me.
Back to the eyebrow. I may have been breathing like this for a long time.
I may have been breathing like this for a long time.
I really would like to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
I really would like to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
I don't even know who I would be if I could breathe deeply.
I don't even know who I would be if I could breathe deeply.
But I'm telling the universe now.
But I'm telling the universe now.
I really want to find out.
I really want to find out.
And then back to the collarbone, soft fist. I deserve to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
I deserve to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
2 hands on the rib cage. I want to breathe out whatever is blocking my breathing.
I want to breathe out whatever is blocking my breathing.
And then take a breath and breathe it out. Under the arm, I want to let go of whatever is suppressing my breathing.
I want to let go of whatever is suppressing my breathing.
2 wrists together. I want to let go of whatever is making my breathing shallow.
I want to let go of whatever is making my breathing shallow.
Top of the head. I deserve to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
I deserve to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
And come back to the collarbone, soft fist, and tap again. And what you can do while you're tapping around on your breathing is just do a complete round. If you think, oh, I'd never be able to come up with what to say on each of the tapping points, there's no way. That's not an excuse to avoid tapping, because what you can do is come to each point, the eyebrow point, and tap long enough to breathe in and exhale just gently before moving on to the side of the eye to breathe in and to exhale. So you don't have to say things on each point. You can just pay attention to how you're feeling as you tap round. And come under the nose and breathe in and breathe out. Onto the chin, breathing in and breathe out. And collarbone, soft fist. And when you feel like saying something, you could just say something. 2 hands on the ribcage. I deserve to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
I deserve to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
Under the arm. I'm tired of having this restricted breathing.
I'm tired of having this restricted breathing.
It's exhausting having this restricted breathing.
It's exhausting having this restricted breathing.
It cuts me off from my power.
It cuts me off from my power.
And then come back to the rest position, which is tapping with a soft fist around the collarbone. Take another breath in. and check in with yourself where you're breathing at and see again whether it's increased, decreased, or stayed the same. What do you reckon, Emily?
Slightly easier, probably a 7 now.
Okay. And then you can come on to if it was that easy for me to breathe deeply, freely, and fully,
If it was that easy for me to breathe deeply, freely, and fully,
I'd have done it years ago.
I'd have done it years ago.
This is real stress I'm carrying in my body.
This is real stress I'm carrying in my body.
My breathing represents all kinds of stress I'm dealing with.
My breathing represents all kinds of stress I'm dealing with.
And if it was that easy to sort out,
And if it was that easy to sort out,
I'd have done it years ago.
I'd have done it years ago.
So just, joke with yourself, inflate it. It's not necessarily a somber process. It can be really a joyous process as well. And then 2 hands on the ribcage. Even if I don't know what is suppressing my breathing,
Even if I don't know what is suppressing my breathing,
I'd really like it to go.
I'd really like it to go.
I deserve life-giving oxygen flooding my lungs.
I deserve life-giving oxygen flooding my lungs.
I deserve all the oxygen going into my bloodstream.
I deserve all the oxygen going into my bloodstream.
Oxygenating my blood.
Oxygenating my blood.
Making me as healthy as I can be.
Making me as healthy as I can be.
I'm tired of this shallow breathing.
I'm tired of this shallow breathing.
I deserve to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
I deserve to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
I don't know how I'm going to do this.
I don't know how I'm going to do this.
But I'm telling the universe now.
But I'm telling the universe now.
I deserve to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
I deserve to breathe deeply, freely, and fully.
Okay. And come finally to the collarbone again. So that's a demonstration of EFT, and Emily's going to give you as well the script, the EFT things to say on each point for self-acceptance. So that's something you can look at on your own and play with. On the script, you're going to get my words. Think of it as jazz. You just use your own words. Just whatever comes into your head as you tap around, and it's much more powerful with your words. And that's EFT.
And that ties in with what I was saying earlier. When you find the right words, you'll potentially get a wash of emotion. And let's say, as an example, your breathing is shallow because you've got low self-esteem or something, and you might just sort of tap around going, I don't know, if I can only get through this low self-esteem, I deserve to feel better. And you might suddenly get a whoosh of, whew. Yeah. That's the one that then wants more attention.
Yeah, yes. It'll highlight stuff. And when you, and don't feel despondent when you think, oh, look, I was breathing at a 5 and now I'm breathing at a 2. Like, what's going on here? You are just connecting with things that you're carrying in your body all of the time anyway.
Yeah.
And it's signposting to you that stuff needs addressing, to be paid attention to be resolved and released. It's a good thing. Because
absolutely.
We live with it. We live with this stuff and we're not paying it attention. So that EFT is a gentle way of paying attention.
Absolutely. And it ties in really nicely with the fact that perimenopause seems to come along and just give us a slap around the chops to say, pay attention. And EFT is a really good way of just working through that without having to bare your soul to anybody, without having to relive anything. Just, it lets you just go through it, doesn't it?
Yeah. And you say definitely. And with EFT, you say things as they are. So you can do a whole round of, I'm really struggling with who I am with this perimenopause. I'm really struggling with how different I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the old me? Don't dress it up. You don't go in and tap, but I'm feeling so much better. I'm feeling really great. You go in with your reality.
Yeah.
And just sometimes saying it out loud, if you've got privacy, saying it out loud and think, actually, the world's still turning. Nothing terrible happened, although it is still 2020. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You take the power away from those things that you've been holding on to inside of you.
And this is something that you can literally do in the shower. So you don't even have to be on display to anybody, do you? You know, you can just be in the shower and you can just whisper it if that's what makes you better able to feel in control of it, then that's
Or just say
perfect.
it silently inside your head. You know the things you need to work on. You know the things that are bothering you. Those are the things that you tap out. And as you tap round, you'll have aha moments, as I said, and it'll inform your next tapping round. You'll think, oh, okay, I want to talk about this now. I want to say about, and then my mother, and then this happened. And my husband doesn't really get it. No one really gets it. I'm the only one that gets this. Just tap it out. It's really empowering.
It is. It is. That's awesome. Thank you. That's given a really nice, clear demonstration of it that people can use whenever they need to. So that's perfect.
Great, great. Thank you.
Thank you very
Okay,
much,
good.
Sally.
Cheers now.